welcome to Dan's Morning Outdoors. I'm Dan, and today I'm going to be going over the basics that you need to take on your first camping trip. Alright, there are a couple things missing from this list, of course. That would be a tent and your food supply. Of course, you do not need a tent if you're going to camp in a cabin, and your food supply is up to you, so that's purposely not included. This is a 3-day camping trip that we're hypothetically packing for. Now, you're going to put it all in this bag, and I have a compression sack as well. Now, you can of course have a bigger backpack to put it in, but that's up to your personal preference. So, depending on how into camping you are, you can use anything from a duffel bag, a backpack, to one of the nicer hiking backpacks. I'm just using this old hiking backpack and the compression sack that I've got to do this. It's a super simple way to do it, and it'll keep everything reasonably organized. Alright, now, the first thing I'm going to start packing in is the compression sack. I'm going to put all my clothes and other stuff in there, and then this backpack will be left for all the gear that you might need if you go on a hike or something, and this will help you be more organized as you go to camp. So, first, you need to make sure you have plenty of underwear, a couple of pairs of socks, about 1 per day, and then an extra 2 or 3. Depending on how long the trip is, you need different amounts of clothes. So I have 1 pair of clothes for 1 day, a second pair of clothes for the second day, a third pair of clothes. I also have a nicer shirt in here for the third day. And then I have some pajamas. I have a pair of sweatpants and a long sleeve shirt as well as a short sleeve shirt. And then I have a sweatshirt. Doesn't have to be anything special in my opinion. Alright, another thing is I have thermal underwear. You might not need them if you're camping in like Florida or somewhere very hot. If it's going to get cold, like I would say below 40, you might consider them in the morning if you don't pack a lot of heavy gear. Alright, the last thing is a handkerchief, which is going to go in the gear, as well as a hat, which will also go in the gear. But a stocking cap is super nice at night if you sleep like really cold. You either have a heavier sleeping bag, but a hat also helps maintain your heat level. It's super important and super helpful in my opinion. Alright, now this is pretty full, but I think it can hold a little bit more. So, okay, I've got my sleeping pad. And this, the sleeping bag liner is going to go with the sleeping bag, which is going to go outside, which I believe this is everything I'm going to need for this trip. Alright, so this is a waterproof compression sack. So I believe you fold it with the air out. Alright, let the air out and then flip it shut. And then, as with the normal compression sack, this slides over the top, covers the handle. You want to make sure the straps are as open as possible for this one, because it gets kind of complicated. And then cinch them down as you go. You don't want to make them too tight. They do a good job compressing, and that's about as tight as it's going to get. You don't want to, especially you don't want to cause undue stress to the stitches, which can cause it to fail prematurely. So we got all of our clothing, we got a sleeping bag and a second compression sack, and a sleeping bag liner, which just kind of goes on top. The cool thing about these are, it's kind of like a sleeping bag. So I have a sleeping bag handle here that you can take. And if they fit right, I made this one out of paracord, just stitched it. But if you make it, see, this is supposed to be a handle, and yeah, that's a good handle, but in my opinion, this was an idea I had, is that you can use one of these, put a side handle on it, and it can also serve as a tie-down point. You can put a carabiner right here and strap it onto like a backpack or something if you had to. But now I have a handle, make them a little farther apart. It works, but yeah, so it's like a little suitcase basically. Got a sleeping bag and a sleeping pad. A pillow is a super nice addition, and I found it super helpful when I camp. It brings a nice home sense to it, and you're not like completely out of civilization. I sometimes don't bring them, but they're really nice when you do have time to bring them. Even just like a small inflatable pillow, it brings a whole lot of comfort after a long day of hiking. Alright, so the rest of this, with the exception of the boots, which I believe I'm going to wear out there, is going to go in this backpack. So the first thing is you want rain gear, but that's going to go on top, along with a hat, a bandana. Then first, I guess, is your cooking gear. This is a Jetboil stove. It's super nice. I like it a whole lot. And I got some forks, a spork, and I got all the Jetboil parts in here. One of the first things that humans need is fire, which creates heat and also creates the ability to cook. This is some Duraflame with matches, as well as one of the red bricks from my fire starting video. If you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to go watch it. It's really interesting and it helps a lot. It's up there. And so I'm going to put that in one of the side holders because it's super important, and if you ever need to get at it, it's super easy to get at. Now, another way to get food that goes with this is a fishing rod, which if you aren't going to go fishing, then you don't need it, but it can be helpful when it's like a survival situation. But I find that it fits really well right here. And then you open the main pouch up, you can slide a Jetboil. And then the fuel fits right next to it. Really easy. And then you want to put your plate in there as well. And what I'm going to do is, because this pack is tapered at the bottom, is put the fishing rod at the bottom because it fits in the bottom, in my opinion, the best. And then put plates in there, as well as my utensils, and then my stove, which also opens it up for the canister of fuel. Alright, another thing is a nice water bottle. These are made by Nalgene, and I'm hoping to publish another video on them. They're amazing water bottles. I really recommend them. They're only like $12, and I actually broke one. They're super hard to break. I broke one, and they sent me a new one. So it's a great warranty on them. It's a lifetime warranty. So that goes on the side. And now, the main staple of camping, in my opinion, is a headlamp, along with your fire starting, a knife or multi-tool. I go in front, the easy access pouch. And then, here's something that is one of my favorite camping gears, it's a cup, but if you take your headlamp, it can become a lantern. It's a red lantern, of course, but if you can find a different color of this, like clear or gray, it could become a nice lantern. So you can slide that in there. Alright, something that is very important when you camp is toothbrush, toothpaste, and some form of soap for cleaning dishes and also personal hygiene. So toothpaste, toothbrush, soap. And chapstick is always important. It keeps your lips moisturized, and it also, this one is SPF 15, which means it is a form of sunscreen, which brings us to our next item, which is sunscreen, of course. If you're going to get wet or any risk of chafing, Gold Bond powder is super important, super helpful. Deodorant, hand sanitizer, bug spray. So a first aid kit like this does not have to be so big. This one's for mowing. I take it with me in case of an accident. But it can be something really small that like clips onto your pouch. There are some that are just like that big, and they clip onto the top of your pouch. My next item is a carabiner cup. So just clips on right there. You can use it for water. You can stuff a bandana in there. Hat. Just go in front. Which just leaves us to the final thing that is super duper duper important when you can. So something very important is, as you see, I put my rain jacket up here. I'm also going to put my rain pants in because you want them to be easily accessed. You don't have to dig the bottom of your pack to get them if you're in a downpour. That's going to get all of your belongings wet. It's going to get you soaked. You're going to be at increased risk for hypothermia and frostbite if you're in a cold condition. So it's super important to keep it where it's easily accessed. Just put it on the front. Flip it all together. Put this back on there. Set it with your gear. Of course, shoes, of course, and then first aid kit doesn't have to be that big, and then you're good to go. Thank you for watching. If you have any camping gear ideas that you are interested in seeing more about, or if you have a camping suggestion, I would happily take them and potentially test them. So please leave them in the comments, like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Thank you for watching.